Okay, so we're live now. I am the industry. This is I'm the industry louder than music, episode 35. I'm here with I am the industry staff member. I'm gonna go ahead.
Cody. My name is Cody Ewells. How's everybody doing?
All right, and you're gonna be really adding a new branch, if you will, to our podcast topics and all of that interesting stuff. I mean, what's your favorite? What's your taste in music?
I listen to a little bit of everything. I typically, I stay away from country isn't really my style, or like the heavy metal stuff really isn't my style, but I'm very into, everything from folk to like the synth pop is really popular right now. The John Mayers, I'll listen to, Chance the Rapper. I'll listen to Vince Staples is a big one for me. I was listening to James Blake a little bit ago, so just a little bit of everything.
Oh, that's cool. And do you play like any instruments or?
I used to play guitar. I sing a little, but mostly I'm on the other side of the stage where I'm the photographer and things like that. That's usually how I help out. Music.
A lot of photography. Have you like got any shots at any famous concerts or with any major artists or anything?
Not any major artists. There was one I did just last week. His name was Damian Horn, and apparently he was touring with John Legend for a while. So I guess that would be a pretty decent one.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to just see how prepared you are now. Just playing crazy topics. I mean, people tend to like to really get into weekly rumors and stuff like that. So before we even started the podcast, we were just talking about Taylor Swift actually, and you enlightened me to it because I saw some gibberish about her kind of sending clues about a new project or some, not even that, but just kind of trying to get attention. But you said that she has a new project coming out. Did you hear anything about that?
I heard about a week or two ago she had deleted all of her content on Instagram, on Twitter. She deleted everything, was starting over, and then she started posting these teaser videos. It was of a snake. You figured out it was of a snake, and she just came out today and came out with something called Reputation. It's apparently going to be a new album coming out in November, and she has a new single coming out tomorrow.
Now, I heard this somewhere, but do you think that she really made her career? Now she does make catchy music and good music that people like, but generally speaking, do you think she's gotten to this level of her career almost as a mega star by playing the victim? Would you say that?
I think that's a good way of putting it. I think she, all of her relationship songs, everything like that, it's never been her fault. It's always been, something wrong with the guy. So, you have to question a little bit of how she is in relationships a little bit, but I don't think, she just won this big lawsuit of like a groping scandal or something like that.
About that, wasn't it a previous manager or something?
I think so. I think it was a very Kesha-y kind of thing where it was like a previous.
Yeah, I heard about that too. See, another example, then the Kanye West thing, and then that's an array of different things. I actually don't have one Taylor Swift song I like, but when she comes on in Target or when you're at the gas station or something and they play her music, it's kind of like, oh, it's pleasant. So
I've always been a Taylor Swift fan. I like the newer stuff now than like I said, I'm not a huge country fan, but when I was growing up, I was a country fan, and she and I always liked her stuff. But
Okay. And by the way, I know it took us a long time to get connected to do an episode here with our crazy schedules and everything, but I'm glad it worked out. So
yeah,
just throwing that out there. Now, just to shift gears for a second, let's go to something else kind of creepy going on. I know Taylor Swift isn't that creepy, but I guess it's creepy.
interesting.
She's a professional victim, so I guess she would. I guess she would fit well with R. Kelly's situation. You know.
Yeah, she's just on the opposite side of the spectrum.
Can you picture her as one of his like sex slaves or victims? Like since she's well good at it. I mean, I don't know. And the victim.
That's a good transition.
Yeah, much. I mean, we're talking about victims here. The whole R. Kelly thing, I really don't want to get into details about it because, I mean, he's been caught before. You know, the scandal with him peeing on girls several years back.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently, one of the girls the second victim who came out, and you guys can go read this. I really don't want to get into details unless Cody, you want to highlight some of it. It's pretty much like what's that movie that came out this year? What or was it last year? It was about this guy who like pretty much kept this girl in his house and he was going to like impregnate her because what was that movie?
Oh, it's not. Is it Lights Out?
I think so. Yeah, he's blind and he can
Yeah,
heighten senses in the dark and all this.
I think it's Lights Out.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But anyway, this new situation with R. Kelly is kind of has a lot of motifs similar to that. I mean, keeping girls in the house, except he has money. Actually, kind of reminds me of Dracula. He has like a kind of vampire-esque aura.
Yeah, he's a strange guy. He's a very mysterious guy, I guess.
That's a nice way to put it. You're being real nice to R. Kelly right now.
Okay, he's a creepy. I think that's the best word right now.
Pedophile. I mean, or he's a
Pedophile.
however you want to put it. But it's kind of like we've heard this before. You know, just I don't know. I don't want to entertain it too much. But what's some other things going on? All the R&B guys are going through it now. Usher, his recent situation. He pretty much is getting off the hook now. I think he tested recently. He came up negative for the herpes virus or whatever.
Yeah, I hadn't heard much about it. I remember talking to you about it a little bit, but yeah, all these girls were coming out. You know, it was like 2 or 3 of them, didn't they?
Yeah,
and they all come out like saying that they got herpes from Usher. And I mean, I'm a fan of Usher, so it's like part of me deep down is like I don't want to even believe it.
Yeah. The thing is too, like I found out Amber Rose reached out to the heavyset female that claimed that she was a victim. Amber Rose reached out to her because she is like trying to liberate or reappropriate the word hoe or whore rather.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard about her slut walks. I think it's in the next month or so. She's gonna have a slut walk in Florida somewhere.
No.
Yeah. She was in the news recently, but she's pretty much like saying how mainstream has tried to flip the N-word, like how disenfranchised communities have taken derogatory terms and changed the meanings of them. So she's doing the same for females who are being called hoes and things like that. So she actually reached out to one of his victims, Usher's victims. And what did she say here? Let me just read this quick article. She pretty much, okay, so pretty much she's pretty much just taking the side of this girl, like giving her support during this time to briefly summarize it. But I don't know, what are your thoughts? Like you said, you were an Usher fan, and this kind of took away from you enjoying his music, you think?
I think, you immediately
Photobomb.
What are you doing?
podcast.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
It's my girlfriend.
I know that, I know I'm the industry management's going to get on us about this because our settings don't look professional enough, but we're not rich yet. So
yeah, exactly.
So
I'm staying in the bonus room in my house.
Yeah,
But
we're definitely going to hear that.
But I probably should have, told her before I came in here.
That's no problem.
But
audio.
Yeah, with Usher, it's one of those things where, I think this is the same with, the A-list musicians. This is with, your superstar athletes. This is with everyone. You kind of you put these people on a pedestal. They can do nothing wrong, kind of thing. And so immediately when there's a scandal that happens, something goes wrong, you immediately kind of defend that. You defend your idols, you defend, the people that you enjoy. That's, the same thing with, Taylor Swift. She's so popular because she plays the victim. And, no teenage girl or whoever it would be would go, well, maybe she's the problem. It's the guy's problem because she's perfect. She's that perfect person. So with Usher, it was one of those things where you sit there and you go, no, he can't, he doesn't have herpes because, it's Usher. even though he's a human being, it's a possibility that he did have it.
Yeah, it's the same with R. Kelly. Like, a lot of people were saying that, to jump back to R. Kelly real quick, a lot of people were saying they didn't want to listen to his music anymore because all those song titles, and when he's saying certain things in music, he's talking about his his fetish. Mm-hmm. So it kind of took away. I heard someone say that they stopped listening to his music once he was accused of the situation like 10 years ago. So it's kind of like, what do you? I was like, I kind of wasn't surprised that Usher had herpes. His genre is R&B, a very sensual type of music, and he's been around for a long time. Like, I think a lot of these artists have some type of STD or whatever, STI, whatever they call it.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, I'm sure that these are normal human beings that especially someone like Usher can probably get with just about whoever he wants, and probably and probably does that a little bit. Again, like, I don't know, so I don't want to assume, but it wouldn't be out of the question. So that idea of maybe having an STD or something along those lines wouldn't necessarily be completely out of the question, because just. And I'm sure, someone like R. Kelly, or, I remember reading an article on GQ about, Jeremiah, right when his Late Nights album came out, and he was talking about, some of the inspiration for some of the songs was just like, it was like songs that, I would want to have sex to, and and so, obviously that's a big idea in today's society, and especially in the artists' minds.
Oh, and I think we might have a special guest joining us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's odd. We did have a special guest who was going to join us, and apparently, as I was just talking to Cody before we started, is having issues getting into the podcast session. We're going to see if we can help him get into that. While I'm doing that, another R&B singer that's making news for some craziness is Bobby Valentino. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I know of the song he did with Lil Wayne forever ago, and that's about all I got on him.
With Lil Wayne? Okay. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, because he hasn't done any memorable music in over a decade, pretty much, but he keeps getting caught with transgendered or transsexual prostitutes. I think this most recent one was like the second time he's been caught, and a lot of people were just saying, if that's his preference, just come out and say that this is his preferred. But every time the reason why, because anytime he's caught, he keeps trying to run away from the scene, like trying to get away and like, oh, that's I didn't know or whatever, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are your thoughts on? It might be an uncomfortable topic, I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's you. I guess you like what you like, and you know, I mean, we're in a. It's a good way of putting it. A judgmental yet understanding society.
mm,
We are, you know, he will probably get judged for, you know, if that's his type, and then he'll also have people that are like, hey man, you do what you want to do.
mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I think if that's his thing, go for it. If not, then you know, keep playing the victim card.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of tricky, you know, because you know he was kind of like a hip hop artist, if you will, a ladies' man, and to
Mm-hmm.
come out and I think he's like ashamed of that, because no one in music is, especially in like R&B and hip hop, has openly come out and really said that they're not heterosexual.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you know there might be something behind that, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with all everyone's favorite R&B idols these days. Are all pretty much under fire for something or hiding from something.
Did you hear about? I just saw it pop up. Oh, DMX. What happened to him a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, about it was tax issues.
Yeah, it was. It was. I think it was that, and then it was also like he had drugs with intent to sell or something along those lines. Um, but I just saw a thing, an article pop up here from Billboard. Said he was on house arrest. It says his house arrest will end, and now he's checking into rehab.
Wow. Okay. Rehab again for I wonder for what?
He failed multiple drug tests,
Wow.
apparently.
Yeah, DMX hasn't been the same since his career kind of like took a sharp like dive at like around 2003. You know, I feel like he didn't get as much time to really take in his stardom.
Yeah, whenever that, it kind of went downhill after the, you know, that Party Up song kind of blew up. And then after that, it just, yeah, he just kind of went downhill. And it's pretty depressing because,
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think he's one of the most like depressing like artists, if you will.
mm-hmm. That's a good
Most depressing artist.
word. That should be an award at the, at the Grammys.
Wow. So what I'm gonna do, we do have. I'm just gonna cover a few more topics, not to distract the listeners or anything, but I'm trying to get another artist to join, and we may have to, you know, wrap up this particular episode. But I did want to go ahead and cover a few more topics. Let's see. Did you did you hear about who? There was someone who talked about Chance the Rapper recently. Oh, Wale pretty much threw a sneak diss at Chance the Rapper. I know you mentioned him earlier as being one of your favorite artists, and he came out not too long ago and said, kind of attacked his squeaky clean image, you know, saying that it was kind of a front.
I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Wale, so that may be, but he, I like Chance the Rapper just because, yeah, I do like the squeaky clean image, but you know, I think he just, you know, I like rap. You know, I like J. Cole, I like Kendrick Lamar. I like the people that have some substance in their music, and I think, you know, Chance the Rapper is definitely in that category. And yeah, I'm sure there's I know that there's some probably skeletons in the closet that no one knows about, but
Yeah, I thought you were going to go into that Eminem song just a few seconds ago. That's what it actually sounded like. You know, the funny thing is, if you go back to Acid Rap, his I think that was like one of his first Chance's first mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually pretty kind of, I don't want to say street, but kind of what you would expect from a rap artist. He was talking about like his drug addiction and all kinds of crazy topics. So I don't know, why people would assume that if you're familiar with him, I feel like he has nothing to hide.
Yeah, I mean, like we keep talking about in all these subjects. They're things that these artists don't want out. I mean, like Bobby Valentino or someone like that. It's something that they may not want people to know.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, but it's kind of like I think well, Waller's looks like Waller's gonna go on a short retirement anyway shortly. So
Mm-hmm. Well, if Chance bounces back and makes a diss track of Wale, that might happen sooner than later.
yeah, we'll definitely see what happens there. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. Did you have any topics you wanted to go ahead and cover?
No, thanks for having me on.
Oh no, this is your podcast as well. Welcome to the Louder the Music podcast. We'll go ahead and title this "Welcome, Cody."
All right, sounds cool.
Where can people follow you to stay up on some of your hobbies and what's going
on? I have my Instagram is probably my main thing that I keep up to date. It's just Cody CODY Uhls UHLS _.
Okay, and what can listeners expect from you? What do you plan to kind of bring to the podcast? What can listeners expect from you?
I think it's at the moment, like kind of like what we talked about a little bit ago, more of the intellectual side, more of the I like in my writing, which I write for I Am the Industry, you see a lot of hope, a lot of solutions to problems. I just did an article about Manchester Orchestra, and just a lot about, I don't even know the words to even put it, but a lot of inspirational pieces, I think, trying to bring some calm to feels like a world full of chaos. And I think music is an amazing place to start with that. Music is such an art that I think is very, very underappreciated.
I agree. I think so. I mean, like we had this discussion before we even went live about, what my previous interests were, and I just kind of lost my mind, and it's it's more on the cheesy side, because it's about, you're right. We definitely need that. We need, entertainment. Then we also need, to get a different audience, and I think, you'll definitely chime in, touch that vein or get into that. So. But in the meantime, what we usually do is, just shout us out. Everyone could follow the podcast at Louder Than Music Podcast on Instagram. Also follow at I Am the Industry Music Co. As well to stay up to date with latest music and everything. Also, of course, check out our website, IamTheIndustry.com. So with that, I'm Billy Smalls, Billy the Kid, and we're with Cody.
All right, and I'm Cody Uhls.
You'll definitely be hearing from both of us a lot more in the future, as always. In the meantime, see you guys later.